Today, I want to talk about, and I'm going to read just the first chapter of this book. It's called Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. And so, if you're about to watch this, know that you don't have to watch the actual screen. You can go on a walk, go to the gym, wherever you may be. I want to talk about the importance of a lost lead or a lost client. So, the number one marketing strategy, bar none, is going to be how well you take care of your database. And I mean in a way that if someone were to go on social and say they're moving here and they ask, what lender should I use? What is the audience going to respond with? And how is your client experience before, during, and after the transaction? Something that's so remarkable. And I know we've heard of raving fans, but I mean, in a world that's so noisy, the best marketing strategy with the highest ROI is exceptional customer service. So relax. Know that I'm going to be reading from a book, so don't think that you have to look at me. Again, this is the first chapter from Joey Coleman's book. If you guys want a copy, just email me, respond to this, let me know. But here's chapter one. It says, if a dentist can do it, why can't you? As I bit into the purple sweetheart, my mouth exploded in pain. The taste I expected from the sweet and sour candy was replaced by the grunching, painful realization that my back molar had shattered. Tooth fragments filled my mouth and pain shot through my gums, taking me back instantly to previous dental disasters. But as tense as the pain was, my first thought was not actually about the pain. It was about one of my greatest fears, the thing I dread the most in life. I was going to the dentist. Then it dawned on me, I didn't even have a dentist. When I moved from Washington, D.C. to Denver a few months earlier, I didn't take the time to seek out and establish a relationship with a new dentist. This could come as no surprise because, like most people, I despise going to the dentist. Thankfully, a good friend recommended that I go see Dr. Katie McCain at Aurora Modern Dentistry, promising that she would take great care of me. So started with a recommendation. Dreading the impending dentist visit, I reluctantly called Aurora, I think that's how you say that, Aurora, Aurora, Modern Dentistry. I was surprised when a warm, caring, concerned receptionist answered on the first ring. I did my best to explain the problem, and she said, Joey, we need to get you in as quickly as possible. It sounds like you're in a great deal of pain, and we want to resolve that right away. The receptionist adjusted Dr. McCain's schedule to get me an appointment 2 hours later. This considerate and fast acting reaction set the tone for the level of care I was going to receive from Dr. McCain and her office. The fact that a receptionist would make space available immediately for a brand new patient was a good sign. Yet, despite this initial positive experience, I was still skeptical. I did not have a good history with dental procedures. Years prior, I underwent a root canal where, despite the fact that I was under anesthesia, I swear the dentist climbed up onto a step ladder and jumped into my mouth with a sledgehammer, wrecking as he went. The pain from the procedure lasted for days. As past experiences with other dental care providers rushed into my mind, root canals, wisdom teeth extractions, cavity fillings, etc., I tried to mentally and emotionally prepare myself for the upcoming appointment with Dr. McCain. The receptionist asked me if I would have access to email and the internet between our call and the time of my appointment. I told her I would, and she said, if you are willing and able, you can complete the intake forms online, which will make your appointment go that much faster. Almost instantly, a message appeared in my email inbox. Not only did the message welcome me to the practice, but it included a link to a website where I could answer all the necessary questions to detail my entire dental history. I didn't need to print PDFs and fill them out by hand. I didn't need to navigate poorly formatted Microsoft Word attachments and try to insert my personal data. Moving quickly through the various intake prompts gave me a sense of relief that I was able to complete my paperwork on my own time, as opposed to while I waited in the dentist office. The ratty clipboard and chewed cap ballpoint pen approach to filling out yet another insurance form, medical history, and HIPAA release was replaced with a customer experience befitting the 21st century. I quickly navigated through a website that asked for my information only once, didn't require me to repeat myself from form to form, and allowed for the capture of my electronic signature. I completed all of the forms in less than 6 minutes. It was simple, it was easy, it was refreshing. I hit submit with a sense of accomplishment, but I was still curious whether this online form truly covered everything the dentist would need. Surely it couldn't be this easy. I arrived at the dentist office 2 hours later for my scheduled appointment, walked in the front door, and the moment my foot crossed the threshold, the receptionist stood up to greet me. Hello, Joey. How are you feeling? How did she recognize me? We'd never met before. She immediately guided me back to the examination room where Dr. McCain was waiting. After a quick but thorough examination, not only of my broken molar, but the area around it, Dr. McCain informed me that I needed a crown to repair the damage. Fantastic. Can you feel the sarcasm? I'd never had a crown before, but it sounded like an awful experience. My mind flooded with questions. How long will this take? How painful is this procedure? How much will it cost? Dr. McCain answered all of my unarticulated questions thoroughly, patiently, and gently anticipating my cares and concerns in the process. She explained that her office had the newest in dental technology and that they would be able to mill the crown in the office while I waited. From beginning to end, you'll be here about an hour and a half, but you'll never have to come back for us to check the fit again. We'll take a digital impression of the area. We'll construct a new tooth. We will 3D mill it, and then we'll insert it and check for proper fit. We'll make sure that everything is working well and is fully seated prior to you leaving our office. I couldn't believe it. Getting a crown was once a complicated medical procedure that took weeks to complete. Now this new dentist was telling me everything would be accomplished in an hour and a half. It felt too good to be true. But Dr. McCain didn't stop with the explanation of the crown creation or installation procedure. She went further. She offered me payment plans. Crowns aren't cheap. Described her in-house insurance option, which was so much better than any dental insurance I had ever heard of, and shared other ways to reduce the cost of this dental emergency. When I agreed to the procedure, Dr. McCain said, "That's great. We'll get started right away. Prior to that, I just need you to sign this consent form for us to do the work." Suddenly, the screen attached to the examination chair, which up until now had shown x-rays of my mouth and the damaged tooth, displayed a simple, straightforward consent form. She presented an electronic signature pad and stylus, which I hadn't noticed attached to the dental chair, and I signed the consent form electronically. When I was finished, Dr. McCain turned the screen back around, once again brought up the image of the area that she would be repairing, and she set to work. Dr. McCain offered me the opportunity to listen to music during the procedure, but I decided to stay in the moment and be present. Curious, how many of y'all would choose to listen to music, and what music type would you listen to? Okay, back to the book. Squirrel. I thought this would help me react faster if something went awry. As the old adage observes, this wasn't my first rodeo. Throughout the procedure, Dr. McCain made pleasant conversation, a difficult task when I had a series of tools in my mouth and was struggling to talk. Her ability to artfully navigate asking easy yes/no questions to advance the conversation left me feeling that I was in the hands of a trained professional. An hour and a half later, I left Dr. McCain's office with a new crown and a newfound appreciation for the fact that an industry notorious for creating horrible patient experience could easily upend those beliefs. This dental office anticipated my needs, made the interaction seamless, and at every step of the way managed my emotional state. Wow, I'm going to read that again, and I want you to reflect on your own mortgage manufacturing process. This dental office anticipated my needs, made the interaction seamless, and at every step of the way managed my emotional state. I entered the office with a broken tooth and left a lifelong client and a huge fan. My first visit to Dr. McCain in Aura Modern Dentistry completely changed my experience with the entire industry of dental medicine. 2 hours after I returned home, I received a call from Dr. McCain's office. The receptionist greeted me like an old friend and said, "We just wanted to call because by now the numbing agents are surely wearing off, and we wanted to assess your pain level." Wow. Dr. McCain knew that how I was feeling after the procedure would worsen as time went by, and she wanted to make sure I was managing the pain. I told her I was feeling good, and the receptionist said, "That's fantastic news. Did you pick up your painkiller prescription?" The receptionist asked every necessary follow-up question to make sure I would continue to feel good going forward. She then shared Dr. McCain's personal cell phone number and told me to call Dr. McCain directly anytime in the coming days if I felt pain, experienced more bleeding, or wanted to check in about anything I was experiencing or anxious about. Have you ever had a medical professional offer a personal cell phone number after a procedure and invite you to call if needed anything? Neither had I. And I had just met Dr. McCain for the first time a few hours ago. It then shows a side-by-side comparison. So I'll show this of what the average or typical industry standard of what it's like dealing with the dentist versus her office. So it says typical dentist scheduling is always next appointment available compared to Dr. McCain's prioritizing emergencies with returning patients. Paperwork, a typical dentist, poorly photocopied on a wooden clipboard with a chewed up pen. Dr. McCain was mobile friendly online form, and you only have to answer the questions once. The duration obviously was much quicker. One visit wasn't a rushed exam over multiple visits across multiple weeks of time. Follow-up was only for a typical dentist. Call if there's a problem. There was a call in 2 hours after the procedure, then a follow-up 24 hours, then an email and phone call after 7 days. And basically the overall client experience of a typical dentist was frustrating versus Dr. McCain's, which was remarkable. Okay. Since the crown repair procedure, I have been a loyal and faithful patient of Dr. McCain's. Regular cleanings, annual checkups, and the occasional dental repair work have left me singing the praises of my dentist in her office time and time again. Despite the fact that I know very few people who live in my newly adopted state of Colorado, I've already referred 5 new patients to her office and will continue to send friends and colleagues her way whenever I can. A recent exchange on Facebook illustrated how quickly word of mouth spreads and how far ahead of the curve your company will be if you follow the advice in this book. Who absolutely loves their dentist or loan officer for that matter. Not just me, other people love Dr. McCain as well. And here's an exchange on Facebook that says, does anyone in Denver have a dentist that you absolutely love? And this is where marketing and the magic takes place, guys. Because the moment someone puts your name in a thread like this is when they go and they search you. And this is how they make 2 judgments based off warmth and competency. So when they land on your feed and they're going to scroll for a couple of feet, I want you to think, how does your overall feed position you? Does it feel warm? Does it feel like a true strategist? Does it feel like you're safe and easy to call and contact? Because this is how businesses are being referred today in this digital shift. So it says, Dr. McCain's commitment to creating a remarkable customer experience is without compare in the dental industry, at least in my personal experience. If there is someone better in this industry, I will probably never find out because Dr. McCain has earned my business forever. After an initial experience like this, why would I even think about trying another dentist? Not only did Dr. McCain create an effortless experience, but she anticipated and served my emotional needs with nearly telepathic accuracy, made me feel like part of a tribe by giving me her cell phone number, and used other techniques that I'll teach you in this book so that once you earn a customer's business, you never lose the customer again. If a dentist can create a remarkable customer experience and earn lifelong loyalty, every business in every industry in the world can do the same. So my question is, at a time when pipelines may be lean, I want you to audit your mortgage manufacturing process. Are you anticipating your client's needs? Do you have your director of first impressions or your LP1 or your first phone call that someone's answering immediately, that when that phone rings, they're excited to answer and greet that next person who may have other prehistoric beliefs about the mortgage industry based off what happened to them or their parents when they were buying real estate? That is why I'm so passionate about helping people with our services and getting your message echoed on social, is because the time it would take you to create a graphic or create a caption and make the post yourself, I would rather you reinvest that time to perfect the client and business partner experience to where you have, and I know raving fans have been used quite a bit, but I want you to really create and rewire in people's mindsets the pain of buying and moving a home How could you be that industry disruptor that when there's a social media post of someone asking, does anyone have a good lender I should use? Do you have multiple people referring you? So that is my message this week as my coaching tip for all of you on how this is your number one cost in your business right now. It's missed opportunity. It's your database that has been neglected, that the moment someone is even thinking about buying or refinancing a home, do you have your database saying you've got to use my lender? In fact, every closing you have this month, is there at least one referral coming from every closing? That's the goal. So I hope you enjoyed this little book session, my little reading time. And if you guys have questions or need anything else from Plug and Play SM, we would love to hear any suggestions or feedback that you have. We are also growing and expanding. I will include in this email some additional video marketing specific packages that we have now. And, we would love, love, love introductions to people just like you who want to really take this seriously and using social to help transform lives, because that's what we do. All right. Y'all have a great week and weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Take care.